One of the issues for the Roadtrek motorhome, not an issue necessarily, it's a nice feature, I guess, for whatever purpose, but you have three skylights, if you will. And these, I'm not sure if these were aftermarket or if black was in here to begin with. My 2009, this is a 2007 Roadtrek Versatile, but the 2009 had beige in here, and I believe you can get these still from Mobile Life, at least the right and the left side. The center one, I haven't found. So I wanted something a little bit more substantial to not warp. I've actually straightened these out by putting them in my, setting the temperature on my kitchen oven to about 180 degrees, taking two cookie sheets and wedging them in between and then putting a weight on top. I was able to basically anneal this plastic and get it flat again, but I wanted to try something a little bit thicker. So what I'm going to be doing is, and if you'll see right over here, that black sheet over there is a 4x8 sheet of ABS plastic, 3/16 of an inch thick. Cost me $73 after taxes. Actually, $77 after taxes. I'm going to cut out, and I know for the price is a little overkill, but I could make probably, I don't know, what would you figure, maybe about 10 sets of these skylights, if you will, if I want to do all three sides. So I'm going to be attempting to make one of these and see how it fits in here. I realize that these devices are set up for a certain depth. I have no doubt that the 3/16 is going to work in here, but I will see once I recess this into here. Bear with. You're looking at the largest dome cover, I guess, or window cover for the 2007 Roadtrek Versatile, right there. This goes in the center. There are two others, one left and one right of this device right here. This was made, I'm not sure if this is the original one that came in this 2007, but if I recall correctly, the ones in my 2009 were beige and they were about the same thickness. Doesn't seem to be the same material, but possibly was. On the back was probably, looks like probably from a glue gun. This was secured, this insulation, which is also only about 1/8 of an inch thick. So I'm going to look to bake a cover out of this 3/16 thick 4x8 sheet of ABS plastic, and see what I can come up with and what will fit. First step in making the three ceiling cover panels in the Roadtrek motorhome was to take the original piece that was warped the most, as well as the side off, and measure and cut on the 4x8 sheet of 3/16 ABS. So what I was able to do in this one panel is adequate enough. Make sure you cut it to about 10.5 inches wide is better than 10 3/8 that these panels are. But it was enough to make two of the middle panels as well as two of the side panels out of that one stretch. Now you could rotate and cut it this way instead. If you're going to do multiple sheets, you could actually get 4 of these panels for the width of the 48-inch wide sheet. But as you can see, the height, of course, is going to be different. So you're going to be taking up just as much material when you get done. But again, first step was to do this. I used my circular saw after measuring out, used a straight edge to make sure that I could cut it to 10 3/8 to 10.5 inches wide. But then I marked it out with a piece of chalk on the back side. It's a matte surface on one side, and it's smooth on the opposite side, versus the original panel was matte on both sides. But either way, I went to the back side and I marked with a piece of chalk, but then I scored it. And after cutting this to the width first, and on my chop saw, I cut the angle. I could have just done the entire thing on my bandsaw, but I cut, this is actually a 14-degree cut. I cut them to the first one to 15 inches, but it's 14 degrees for the angle on this particular center panel. But I just traced the outline, and you can see the result so far. On my bandsaw, I cut the radiuses, but I also have a disc sander, which a lot of people aren't going to have. So I was able to shape the profile of both these panels as well as the side panels using the disc sander as well. What I have yet to do, of course, is to cut the notch that's in here. It's actually at an angle. If you look at this straight on, it's actually at a taper. But I'm going to be cutting these a little bit. I'm going to allow for 1/8 of an inch on either side to make a tighter fit, because this one is a little sloppy in the center. The side ones are okay. I'm going to make the hole slightly smaller in diameter and see how it fits next. I've actually cut out the equivalent of 4 center pieces. This is the original. And 2 each of the left and right panels covering the portals and the 2007 Roadtrek Versatile. Pretty universal. A little tedious. This is ABS plastic, 3/16 of an inch thick. You can see the original is about 1/16 of an inch, maybe not quite an eighth. This is 3/16, so there's definitely a little bit more integrity, but it's going to remain to be seen as to how this holds up under heat. We'll see. Trying to come up with a thicker reflecting material, for the portals to replace the original thin insulation. Okay, I've just now assembled or reassembled the new cover to fit the center of this 2007 Roadtrek 210 Versatile. And so this is 3/16 of an inch thick. I will probably reuse the insulation board that was on there, figure out how to attach it to the backside of this, maybe with some double-sided tape or something, just to make it stick in place. But I did have to, unfortunately, I had some number 6 washers, because I used 2 washers between this fastener and the button head, not a grommet, but the snap-on button that was acting as a spacer and a guide for this panel. So I used 2 on this side, 2 on that side, and this is actually pretty darn secure. Will it warp? I do not know just yet. Remains to be seen. Otherwise, if it doesn't, I've got a good fix. We'll see. I completed the project of replacing my 3 ceiling, dome, whatever that you want, portal windows. Replace them with the 3/16 ABS. And the insulation that was in, I decided to stay with that. To hold it in place instead of using a glue gun, I used 3M double-sided tape, similar to what I used at the rear of the motorhome. Pretty easy fix. All you need is just a couple dabs. You don't need to do the whole thing. It's just to keep the insulation in place. So if you remove the cover, that it stays with the cover. So that is just another fix for today. Again, I had repaired, this screw was stripped out inside here, so I made a little backing plate to go behind the U-shaped trim that holds the cloth in place and so on, and that the window rests against on the outside. So anyway, that fix is done. Everything looks good. All I have to do now is see just how badly these warp in time.